upper semifinals. Of course, this means that we won't have a mirror matchup finals. We have a Protoss and a Terran towards the south, and we have a double Zerg semifinals towards the north, or in the upper semi. So does mean no mirror matchup for the grand finals, which I appreciate. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing DRG Z Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Team Arbidos. It is DRG. Actually, hold on. I need a moment. So hopefully nothing too crazy happens. It's gonna be a hatch gas pool all around, so standard openers. But something just came up, so I'm gonna need a moment. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Enjoy the observing of Enki. One moment. Okay, I'm back. It's all good. I have returned. And what did we miss? Oh, hold on. I think my gain just messed up. One moment. Okay, we're good. So it looks like it was a standard opener. Hatch gas pool all around for both of our players. Third base on time as well. It looks like we didn't miss out on anything. We came back just in time for the link flood of Dark. The goal here is to deny the third base. And DRG, it's going to be on him to defend. Thankfully, he did not skip his Baneling nest. We're going to have some Banelings morphed in. There we go. 2 Banelings are on the way. And they should finish up in time. 4 Banelings, actually, as DRG does get eyes on the mass link coming his way across the map. Can DRG hold on? As these things are going to get a nice surround on this hatchery already. The Banelings are going to be rolling on in. Are they too late? Up! Can we split? Up! We're going to be able to split up, but nah, the hatchery is going to go down. Dark, he has successfully zoned DRG away. Or has he? Yeah, he has. He has, as the third base goes down. Oof. A rough start here for our red Zerg player. Is going to be down in bases, down in production as a result. We do have a Roach Warren on the way, and DRG is going to be able to get into Roaches a little bit faster. But Dark doesn't, or he's not too far behind with his own Roach production as well. Pick me. As we are back. And yeah, DRG, he's got a really nice lead for himself. We do see Sorry, Dark has a nice lead for himself. DRG is going to try to bounce back with these roaches. He can maybe hit a certain timing. He can go all in if he does cut workers, and it looks like he's doing so. No more drones are in production. DRG is just banking up roaches back at home to go for one big all in. Of course, this was forced out of Dark. We'll see if DRG can do anything to stop this. We'll see if Dark can do anything to stop this. Look, 4 hours of sleep do something to you. It ruins you. Oh. Not like this. As here we go, the all-in is upon us. Dark does get eyes on this with his Overlord. He is aware back at home. Dark has been droning, by the way, a little bit heavily. He's up to 50 workers. We have a spine crawler on the way at the natural and at the third base. Dark may be forced to just give up on his third just because the sheer numbers of roaches that DRG has. Dark catches some of the reinforcements. DRG is across the map. So far, the concave is looking good. The queens are all brought forward from the main base, from the natural. And we are holding on. In a couple of seconds, the spine crawlers will finish up. It looks like that Ling counterattack catching those reinforcements really did slow down DRG. And Dark is holding. He's going to be losing a couple of drones, but for the most part, he has held. DRG backs off. He's... this is a sad moment here, but he's going to attempt to re-drone from so far behind. And I love this from Dark. He knows he has a lead. Throws down a Spire. He knows he's in a better position. Spire is on the way because he can get away with it. He knows that he shouldn't die anytime soon. That he can't die anytime soon. DRG just now working on his own lair. So he can't hit anything with like roach speed, for example. He can't get into his own mutas. He can't rush into hydras. He just has to drone. So DRG's in a really rough position from this point. Can he bounce back? You know, Zergs, they do have a couple of comeback mechanics, like tunneling claw roaches and things like that. The problem is the lack of lair. Like, a lot of this comes from lair tech, and the lair just now finished. So before DRG can even think about burrow and tunneling claws, he has to go into roach speed of his own. He's going for a Spire, which makes sense given the situation. It's just unfortunate that DRG starts his Spire as the Spire finishes for Dark. He is just one step behind. And to be fair, that's what happens when you lose your third base that early on. Like, that was that was a game-winning move for Dark. Or at least set him up for success. Set DRG up for failure. As he spots the Spire, he knows he's behind. The mutas are already on the way, and DRG is aware of that. He should be getting his queens in position. There's Burrow. We're actually just... Okay. We're going to be canceling Burrow. We're throwing down spores. Overlords are turning back around. Oh, boy. Wait, what? Oh. Oh. That's weird. Sorry. Wait, what? Why was that being captured? Wait, what? The EPOS software is not even a part of my scenes. I apologize. It was covering the production tab the entire time. I fixed it. How was that there? I'm shook it. What? I'll have to look into that. Anyway, shout out to EPOS. The EPOS suite. It's not a good microphone. I don't recommend it. That's the word Charmy and Slimy got in for Dark. You were just look, it's fine. You missed out on the. I was talking about what's being produced anyway. We were showing the timing of the spires and the lair. It's fine. It's fine. As Dark is pushing it forward, he has the roach advantage. Is going to be able to overcome the might that is DRG. We do have the mutas doing what they can. Actually, going to be distracting Dark here in the main base. Sorry, DRG in the main base. DRG is going to be able to hold on. Is forcing Dark back. Looking at the units tab. Dark actually didn't make too many mutas. He only made a handful of them. So DRG has the muta advantage. Doesn't have the roach advantage though. Is that why? Hold on. So a couple of days ago, I was casting, I think I was casting the KSL replays from KSL 19. No, sorry. I think it was GSL. And there was a moment where there was a black box covering the production tab. Was that also the EPOS software? It's the pieces, they're coming together, Papi. They're coming together. It's all making sense. Okay. The more you know. Anyway. We are getting into this, and so far we have Dark transitioning into Hydras, into Mutas, sorry, into Lunkers as well. Lunker Den is on the way. That PC is taking over. Oh. This used to be an EPOS B20 stream, Smooch. Not like this. Bring back the EPOS. We don't want the production tab. We don't want it. We don't need it. Show us your mic volume. Show us the audio levels. Oh, I understand. As we do have the Roach armies just clashing in the center of the map. Again, Dark is transitioning into Lurkers behind this, but we'll see if he can get away with it. A bit of a Roach run by here over towards the left-hand side. We're getting some of these queens. It looks like a tunneling clause is coming into play as well, going to be distracting Dark. Expose your setting. Oh. What have you been watching when not casting? Starcraft. As we do have a DRG trying to force his way through, and he's finding some damage here and there. He gets a couple of drones, but for the most part, he can't quite push forward. And now DRG's on, he's quite in a bit of trouble here. Once the Lurkers do morph in, there's no way for DRG to break on through. There's a couple of Bard Roaches here in the main base, but Dark, he has eyes on this. He has eyes on everything. He is going to be able to shut them down. The Lunkers have arrived. So what I say a lot of the time with Dark is that typically whenever he has an advantage, he is more than willing to tech up into Lurkers, because he's willing to just, whenever he gets an advantage, whenever he gets behind, he's willing to just go into Lurker play. He knows that he has the better late game, and with those Lurkers, he's going to be able to hold on to at least that base on the right-hand side. The Roach army is pushing on through here for DRG. He's gaining ground. The Lurkers have not repositioned. We need you. Lurkers, please. Now they're moving on forward, but this is a little bit too late. DRG, he pushes through. He gets on top of the Lurkers as well. Both of them are going to go down. Has he done it? Oh, God, as he is barely forcing his way through the army of Dark. Mutas do come out in time to clean this up. Dark will barely hold on. After the dust does settle, what do we have left? We have one Lurker, 4 Mutas. The economy of Dark is still quite strong. It's still looking solid, but as I say that, drones are going down. Hold on, I was just testing something. Okay. Now both players are just gonna be able to, they're forced to kind of back off for a moment. I feel like begrudgingly DRG is forced to tech up into Hydras as well. We have an Infestation Mid on the way. He's one step behind when it comes to Lurker tech, when it comes to Hive tech as well. There we go, Hive on the way for Dark. So tech wise, DRG is just one step behind, and that's why he was being so aggressive earlier. Like he knew, like, oh, he's behind in Lurkers, he's behind in a lot of the upgrades as well. The pressure was on DRG to get damage done, and he wasn't able to do so. Well, he almost did. Just barely didn't. Now the Lurker the Lurker numbers are getting higher and higher. Dark just fortifying himself back at home. Hive will be for Vipers. So Dark is the first player to get into Hydra Lurker Viper. DRG is still working on that. And he's just kind of stuck at home. we're getting into a late game ZvZ. Now, to be fair, I have not seen DRG go Hydro Lurker Viper, Lurker Viper before in ZvZ. I haven't seen it. In my opinion, I would say that Dark has the best late game ZvZ in Korea right now. It's better than Ragnarok, it's better than Solar. But I can't really compare him to DRG just because I haven't seen it yet. So I'm ready. I'm ready to bear witness. Unfortunately, again, DRG is still one step behind. It's gonna take a while for him to catch up. As Dark is the first player to max out. He's moving out with his Northern Force here. A couple of Lurkers. Good chunk of Roaches. Base is under threat. At the same time, Dark getting ready to move in on the right-hand side as well. No detection, so the Lurkers are going to force DRG back. They're going to force a massive reaction out of him. At the same time, we have that southern flank coming in as well. DRG is being pulled apart. He doesn't have any defensive Lurkers of his own. GG gets called, and Dark will take game number 1 in this semifinals match. GG. Again, I apologize earlier for the technical issues that we had. Hold on, I need to test something. What if... Yeah, what the hell? Okay, I think we're good. I don't know why, but the EPOS software was being captured. Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah, CG well played there by Dark. He had a really solid lead early on. I was concerned that he was throwing away that lead. There was that moment where Dark had 3 Lurkers, but they weren't in position. We had a big fight that was occurring, and DRG was breaking on through. Alas, he just barely didn't. That was the moment for DRG to really bring it all back in his favor. Just barely wasn't able to do so, and then Dark ran away with it, you know, with his better tech, with his better upgrades. The Lurkers arrived, and DRG actually never had the opportunity to make a Lurker of his own. Was never able to. As the game was ending, I think he had 2 Vipers. He had like 2 or 3 Vipers, but they were still gathering energy. They were still in the midst of gathering that energy, and yeah, DRG, he just couldn't quite keep up with what Dark was dishing out. Yeah. Well played. Are we getting into game number 2? As we are diving into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Zerg player currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. Representing CranKy Gaming, it is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Abydos. Team Abydos, it is DRG. Let's go. A little bit distracted. It's all good. We are back once again. Hatch gas pools being thrown down for both players. Dark, of course, having success in the last game with some early aggression with his Link Flood. We'll see if he goes for something similar. We'll see if DRG mixes things up, bearing in mind that on a map like this, you can be a little bit greedier. You don't need too much to wall off on 2 bases, so 2 base play could be an option here for DRG. Otherwise, he may just decide to be the aggressor himself, you know, and make his own Lings early on and try to be assertive. It's got options, got options. Zerg OP. True. ZvZ unwinnable, papi. Unwinnable. So yeah, we're just going to be settling on down here. If you're interested in the other semifinals match, Classic versus Gumiho is currently going on as well. I don't know who's covering it, I'll be honest. Actually, I can have a look. Hold on. We have Steadfast, we have Dave Tester. So it looks like sorry, not Enki, Chicken Man. Chicken Man is casting Classic versus Gumiho, so if you want to tune into that TVP, then Chicken Man has you covered. Does have you covered with that lower semifinals match. Of course, the winners will face off in the grand finals. No third place match here, not in the KSL. There is no lower bracket, no safety net for you. We'll see how this goes. Again, DRG was looking pretty impressive against Estrella earlier today. Was able to go toe-to-toe with him, even in a more later game scenario or later game state. Against Dark, unfortunately, was one step behind. That's the issue with ZvZ or mirror matchups as well, because you have the same tools. If a player gets a certain lead or a certain advantage, it can be so difficult to overcome that. We saw that DRG was doing everything he could, going to Mutas, going to Tunneling Claw Roaches, but alas, was not enough to close that gap. Not in game one. And now we are getting into game number 2. Once again, Dark is going for a massive Ling Flood. That was 20 Lings in production for Dark. He's going to be skipping his Baneling Nest as well. Bold move out of Dark. Going straight for that Roach Warren instead. Meanwhile, DRG will have defensive Banelings of his own. See if Dark can out-control, out-micro his opponent. He's going to get us around on one of those Banelings. It will not morph in. He's going to get the second Baneling as well. Good pickoffs here from Dark. And with that, he's going to get us around on this hat-trick. Can he force a cancel? No, the base will finish. Can he get a kill? Looks like the Banelings will be pushing him away. At least for a moment. But Dark, he's okay. Oh god. He's okay with being forced back because he's got Roaches coming out behind this. Again, this is going to be pretty committed out of Dark. Roaches are on the way. Ling's going to try and keep DRG busy. DRG setting up for his own surround, not a counterattack. Trying to keep up with the movement here of Dark. Banelings rushing across the map. It looks like they actually want to try to catch out these Lings. But Dark, he's going to rotate in the other direction instead. The Roaches have arrived. Oh, Banelings are being focused down. And is Dark going to have enough to push out? Oh yeah, he's got a lot. He has quite a number of Roaches. He's cutting workers at 31. 31 drones is all he needs. Just producing nothing but Roaches. This is going to be confirmed by DRG. Now, thankfully for him, he already threw down a Roach Warren, so he's working on Roaches of his own. He's getting ready back at home for the push. DRG has a comparable Roach count to Dark. And I think this is a wise choice. It's a rough choice to make, but Dark is droning. Dark is mixing in a couple of workers. Is he gonna drone from here, or is he gonna... never mind. He only made 2 drones just to even things up. But he is gonna be maxing out instead. I just don't know if Dark has enough of an advantage. Actually, DRG is gonna be the one that pushes out. I was not expecting that, considering that DRG has a better economy. And here we go. Dark is diving on this army. Baneling's going to be focused down. We're going to get some decent connections on these Roaches, but the Lings, they do avoid those Banelings. Dark does take a better fight. I appreciate it as well that Dark, he's keeping his Lings back. He doesn't want to throw them away. Not against those Banelings. And Dark is pretty all in. DRG on the back foot. The Roach counts are still looking in favor of Dark now. The Lings are coming from behind. They're catching some reinforcements. Oh, the Baneling! Baneling almost goes off. You see Dark just stutter stepping backwards here. Is able to avoid the majority of those Roaches, and now he can collapse on this army. Lings are coming in to reinforce. And is this barely going to be enough? It looks like it is. Yeah, the Lings, they dive on top of the Roaches of DRG. Dark has far too much. It was so close. I'm shocked that DRG decided to move out despite being ahead in the worker count, but of course he didn't know that. And Dark actually doesn't have enough to break the third. The Ling reinforcements are just too strong. DRG holds. Just barely. Just barely holds on. And Dark is droning. He backs off. He's saturating his bases, taking his gases. He's going to be taking a more defensive position. Meanwhile, DRG isn't. DRG isn't droning at all. He's making nothing but lings and roaches. It's going to be DRG's turn to be the aggressor once again. Pendulum, it swings one way, swings the other, back and forth. Boy. We're playing that game of ZvZ where sometimes if you drone, you die, and Dark did drone up quite a bit. I appreciate this. We have spine crawlers on the way at the natural. Is it going to be enough, though? Is it going to be enough? The Lings are doing what they can to catch some reinforcements to just buy Dark some time. Drones are falling. The roaches are getting caught out. Dark doing the best he can to just stutter step towards the back of his base, but he's being caught out. GG gets called. And DRG takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. GG. Dark just caught droning a little bit too heavily. I mean, to be fair, he was behind from the beginning. Dark did force himself a little bit more all in. And now we have an ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. As we get into the ace match, a massive shout out to Falcon Paladin in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great time. Fellow caster of StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. Thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Hope you had a great time. Hope you enjoyed your stream, your ladder session, I assume. Maybe a broadcast as well. As we are getting into the ace match of this semifinals. Also, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you. Thank you. Of course, subscribers, I hope you enjoy your emotes. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Thank you. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate the support for the Ducklings. Gracias. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Arbidos. It is DRG. Go. So far, the openers haven't been too crazy. So hatch gas pool, once again, no early pools, no early gases. Everything is looking normal, at least initially. Every game so far, though, Dark has been the aggressor at the start of the game. When we come to taking our third bases, he's been going for these big Ling aggressive styles. In game 1, he went Ling Bane. In game 2, he skipped his Baneliness and went Ling Roach instead. But he just barely didn't do enough damage. He wasn't able to break the bases of DRG, and as a result, DRG, he just had a better economy, was able to overcome and overwhelm Dark in the end in that second game. Of course, Dark was also caught droning, to be fair. Like, there's a little bit more that came into that, but for the most part, yeah, Dark was punished for how aggressive he was, for how little damage he was able to deal across the map. And now we're here in the ace match. And this could really go either way. I expect Dark to go for a more defensive opener this time, though. Especially considering how that last game went. I expect him to just ease up on the pedal and calm down at least a little bit. I know that sounds very anti-Dark. I know that he's just aggressive by nature, but at times he can constrain himself. You know, he can temper himself. As we are just establishing our bases. Oh, Dark opting to go for the linear third. Interesting. You don't see this too often in ZvZ. But he is mining through these gold mineral patches, so he's getting access to the third base here over on the right-hand side. And this is a very, very defensive base to take. It's a little bit further back. It's more defensible just because of the choke point here as the entryway into the third. So this does show us that he does want to be a more, or take a more defensive approach, more macro-oriented approach here in Game 3. Meanwhile, DRG is doing anything but that. DRG, the polar opposite, he takes the center base location with that rich Vespene gas geyser that is going to be so important when it comes to roach production in the mid game. DRG is taking the role of the aggressor, or at least I should say he's taking initiative here in Game 3. Dark behind this is link flooding. Of course he is. Of course he is. We have 20 Lings in production, so Dark, his goal is to deny this third base. I mean, upon seeing this, like, you just cannot let this get up and running. It is such a dangerous base for your opponent to take. Dark once again skipping the Bailey Nest, going for a Roach Warren. Likewise, DRG skipping the Bailey Nest, going for a faster Evo Chamber for +1 carapace. Oh, but the third base is going to go down. The rush distance by ground is just too short. DRG is on the back foot. There's not enough energy for Transfuse. The Queen is going to go down. The Queens will fall. The Queens get surrounded. The boys are being pulled. And just like that, that's how it ends. GG. Dark takes the ace match in one. He was droning, by the way. In one fell swoop. DRG wasn't ready. He skipped his Bailey Nest. He didn't have any Lings. He had Queens. And he did not have a wall. Or the wall was quite vulnerable, to say the least. Dark behind it, he was droning, he was taking a third, he was getting a Roach Warren. He didn't intend for the game to end then and there, but DRG was just so heavily underprepared, and just like that, Dark, he advances on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark. Not the game that I wanted. I wanted a more back and forth. I didn't want the game to end so suddenly like that, but that is how sometimes ZvZ can go, especially on Near Humanity. The rush distance by ground is very short, so you have very little time to react. Very little time. And if you do something greedy like skipping your Bailey Nest, that can be punished very hard in the way that we just saw. So, GG. My condolences to DRG. I mean, he had a great showing. He had a really good series against Estrella, and he even forced the ace match out of Dark, but alas, could not keep up and wasn't able to overcome him. Wasn't able to overcome him in the end. His story does end here in the semifinals. GG. And now, we're getting ready for the grand finals. We are getting ready. The other semifinals has concluded. We just got an update. Gumiho took down Classic 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals, getting his revenge. Fun fact, Classic did defeat Gumiho in the qualifiers of the Africa Champions Cup last week. So Gumiho does manage to bring himself back there against his otherwise nemesis, against a player who did deny him entry into the Africa Champions Cup. And now, the grand finals is going to be Gumiho versus Dark.